All right, in this video, I'm going to take you on a brief tour of an input channel for S6L. We'll discuss all the switch possibilities, all the processing possibilities for an input channel, okay? So let's start right here. I've got a set of 8 faders that I've zoomed in on here. And we'll start with this switch right here. This is the attention button. Now, the attention button on S6L is synonymous with the select button on previous venue systems, meaning D-Show, Profile, SC48, etc. It's going to be used for multi-assign functionality. It's going to be used for multi-select. And it's also used to attention that channel to the software. So, for instance, if I press the attention button once, and I have channel chosen in the center of the console on the center CTM, notice it brings up an exploded view of that channel there. Likewise, a single press of the attention button, if I have a flex channel set up in my master section, will attention that channel to the flex channel, and I can lock it there or do whatever I want to do with it. Likewise, if I double tap that attention button, I can now bring it up on the external screen on the venue software there for an even more detailed version of it, as well as all of the other fader views along with it, okay? So very similar to how select worked on our previous systems, now it's called attention, and you'll see why as we move forward here. Down at the bottom here, we have a set of green LEDs. This green is the default color for inputs if you load up one of the default files. Of course, this is user definable. You can pick your own colors for instrument families or grouping, whatever you want to do. And to change the color, it's as simple as attentioning the channel, going to the venue software and right-clicking and selecting a channel or selecting a color. I'll just choose red here just to make it stand out a little bit. Okay? Next thing we'll show is the fader. Obviously we have high resolution, long throw input and output faders on this level of the console. We also now have an LED associated with the fader, and this is for input faders as well as output faders. And that LED represents the nominal setting for the fader or the unity gain position for the fader. And as with previous venue systems, if we simply just press default in the MLM and just touch the fader, it will go back to that unity point. We can also do that with the attention button as well. Okay? Next thing we'll discuss is metering. We have 2 very large, tall, long, high resolution segments of LEDs that run right parallel to the fader, and this is for your input metering or output metering, if this is an output fader. These meters, well, actually, let me just put on some signal here and we'll get some sense of what they can do. So now you can see the meter here, obviously a lot of resolution in it, both in green, yellow, and red LED segments. And as in previous venue systems, we have some meter options as well. I'm going to take you to the options page, interaction, and let's take a look at the metering options here. Obviously we have RMS and peak ballistics available to us, just like we've had on previous systems. We also have the ability for different pickoff points for that metering now. This is a very important change in venue software, and it's one that I really love. I'm so glad that we did this. Right now you're looking at top of channel metering, meaning it's coming right after the preamp. We also have the ability to go at insert return. We can look at that metering insert return. So for instance, if I go over here and maybe I throw in the onboard compressor, you can see the difference in gain. I'm actually looking at the output of that compressor right now. Okay, so we'll take that back out. If I go back to that options page and I now make it post fader, post mute, notice that the metering follows my fader level now. You know, this is really great for doing blends where, you might just be looking at levels and listening and needing to kind of confirm your overall blend of those things using the meter and the fader. It's a really, really effective workflow. It also follows mute, so if the channel is muted, no metering in play. Okay, so this is really, really handy. This is a workflow that was kind of adopted from the Gamble EX56. We had similar, or really the same metering options there. Okay? Okay, the next place I want to take you on the fader module is this pair of buttons right here labeled X and Y. Now, these might seem a little arbitrarily named, and there is reason for it. That is because these buttons in the future will become user definable. Okay, you'll be able to decide what you want as the functionality on these buttons. But as of right now, they are hard-coded. They are hard-coded to noise gate and compressor engage or disengage, right? And that's for the onboard compressor and gate. So as I engage one here, I'll just go ahead and put the compressor in play. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is the metering for it. Now notice within our LED ladders here, in the middle of it, you can actually see gain reduction metering there as well, right? If you can see the downward moving small yellow LEDs. Likewise, if we put the gate in play, you get red for closure and yellow and green for gate depth. You can see those moving within the LEDs as well, okay? Next, we'll move up to the solo switch. Solo makes sense to everybody, right? But the context you have to have in S6L is that we have two solo buses, right? We have monitor A and monitor B. And depending on which one you have chosen for this channel will dictate which output that it solos to. And again, the choices are monitor solo A, monitor solo B, or monitor solo A plus B, okay? So those are your choices for solo. Next switch is the mute button. Obviously, what it does there, it either cuts or turns on the channel. As we move just above that, we get the OLED. This is a very high resolution OLED that is your channel identifier. This gives you your channel name, some additional information, etc. Right above that is the menu button. The menu is a 3-level menu that exists underneath your labeling on your OLED, and we get to it just simply by cycling that menu button. So it'll take and navigate us down through these menus. Now, I'm not going to spend time on these menus here. There is a dedicated video to outline their functionality, so I encourage you to go check that out and get in tune with what's happening on these channel menus. They're actually very helpful. The switch right next to the menu is the top level safe switch, and this plays directly to your choice of top level safe functionality in the software. So I'll take you there one more time. Let's go to the big screen. I'm going to take you to options page, which we're already there. And again, if you look in the lower left hand corner, whatever you have chosen on the radio button or with the radio buttons will allow you to assign that functionality to the top level safe switch, okay? The next place that I want to take you here is in channel processing. Now, I want to bring this to your attention because it's so cool on S6L. For you guys that have mixed in analog before, this is probably the closest you're going to get to an analog workflow in a digital console. It's not lost on anybody. We have tons of encoders available to us on the console now. And if you actually look in kind of a vertical mode, we're actually working in channel strips here right now. If I were to work my way from the fader right up these set of four knobs, you would see gain, low pass filter, high pass filter, and balance. The four probably most commonly used input parameters for a chosen channel. Now, if we just take any one of the scrolling buttons and scroll right, we get the 4 gains of the parametric equalizer. Likewise, one more time, we get the 4 main controls of the compressor. Again, the 4 main controls of the noise gate. And one more, we get the first 4 auxes. So this is just like looking at a channel strip. Keep in mind, we haven't selected a channel yet on the console, yet we can get to all of these parameters on a per channel basis without having to select, right? So it's really, really powerful. There's a lot of great functionality coming for that in the future, so please stay tuned for that as it happens. So our next path in terms of getting in touch with the processing for a channel is to use the actual select button. Now remember, I brought your attention to the attention button, no pun intended there, but we also have a select button on every channel of the console too. And this speaks directly to local select. And by local, I mean within the group of 8 channels that you're working. If you'll notice, we kind of work in 8 channel buckets here on the console. What that means is that we can have a local selection. So once we press the select button, now the CKM comes to life for that selected channel. And for instance, if we're in inputs chosen here for the CKM or the knob module, notice all the input parameters that you have at your disposal now. Gain, low pass, high pass, pan, direct output, delay time, you would have 48 volt, polarity, all your safe functionality, left, right, and mono assignments, etc. All of that is available here in the input choice. Likewise, if we go to the EQ, now we have the 4-band parametric equalizer available for that locally selected channel. So I can turn the equalizer on here. I can choose each one of the bands and turn each one of those on and off as needed. I can also go to an analog style EQ, which is a shelving style EQ, as opposed to a fully strict 4-band parametric right here on the knobs just by pressing the encoder and choosing that. If I go to dynamics, I now have the compressor at my disposal and the gate at my disposal. I can take them in and out of circuit here as well. I have all of the controls here short of selecting the key sources for the sidechain. If I want to do that, I have to go to the inputs page, and to do that, of course, we would just double tap the attention. It would take us right there and we could make those choices. If we keep moving on down the line, if we have plugins inserted on the selected channel, once we choose plugins here, notice the knobs come to life for the plugins. If we choose plugins page, we can now scroll through those plugins and all of their parameters and operate them entirely from the knob module if we need to do it. For instance, I have one of the Brainworks distortion plugins up right now. I could just go ahead and select the Avid multiband. I can go on down to Oxford Inflator. I can even go to AE400 by McDSP. All of these are available to be selected from the knob module, and then I can operate them here. If there are more parameters on the plugin than are available on this set of knobs, you use the scroller that is just right of the processor selection. So I've chosen plugins here. I've got AE400. There are more parameters than I have knobs here. I just use the right arrow, and now I'm getting to the next set of parameters. Okay, so I can just scroll through that. All right, very, very handy, very straightforward, really, really great workflow. The console that I'm working on today is set up for 96 buses. I have 80 set up as auxes, 16 set up for subgroups. So as I get to mix bus, this is how it's going to lay out. For the selected channel, I'm going to choose mix bus, and now I have the first 32 auxes available to me. As I choose the next group of mix buses, it's 33 through 64. As I choose the last set, it'll be the remaining auxes out to 80 plus the 16 subgroups. Now I have all of those available to me there as well. Likewise, within this knob module, for instance, if I'm going to go back to the first set of auxes 1 through 32, and I've made aux 1 a stereo aux. So if I go up and I press the N button, that is the pre or post selection for that aux. If it's a stereo aux, if I press the select button, that changes the encoder over to pan now. Now I'm panning for the selected channel in that aux. Come out of selection, and now I'm on level. And it's turn on or off the aux with the push of the encoder and turn it up for level. Okay? Very, very straightforward in how to do that. The last place I'll take you in the knob module is the one labeled channel. In channel, this is actually going to give us an entire channel strip right at our disposal for the selected channel. I have 4 input parameters, the 4 bands of equalizers, the gate and compressor, and also the 4 auxes. Now the beauty of this choice is it's also user definable. I can build my own channel strip here if I want to do it. Now I'm not going to do it here in the essence of time, but I will put together a video that is entirely dedicated to programming this knob module for your channel. Okay, so it's really, really great. It's very customizable. You're going to love it. Okay. All right, the last place I'm going to take you here, because we're going to run out of time, is up to the touch screen. Okay, let me take a few things out of play here. So now we just have the touch screen sitting in front of us. The beautiful part of the touch screen is that it streamlines a lot of this selection workflow even one step greater. For instance, there are zones of touch built into this touch module. So for instance, if I touch the 1 through 32 down here, it will automatically select this channel and go to auxes 1 through 32. Likewise, if I just touch on the plugins area, it will select the channel and take me directly to the plugins area. Same for compressor gate, same for equalizer, same for input processing channels. And even if I touch on the meter, now it's going to take me to the zoomed in view for that channel, okay? And we can continue to navigate from there if we want to do it. Within the selections of this 8, I can select other channels and stay in the zoom. If I go back and select equalizer, now I can just go select other channels and stay in the equalizer. I can do that from the touch or the control surface. Really, really straightforward, really, really fast, okay? All right, that's going to do it for input processing channels. I hope this helped you out. I hope this will help you navigate and get through the console really, really fast. It's a really wonderful console to be working on. I'm having a blast. So keep in touch. Keep watching these videos. A lot more of them coming. Thanks for checking in for Avid S6L operational videos. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.